ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ. Welcome all those that are seen and all those who are seen but remain unseen. So thank you for joining our continuous, I would say, conscious evolution. And we've been hearing again the people who have been following this series of talks and meditations are reporting some really significant impact. They don't seem to be so worked up. They don't seem to be. In fact, I heard someone say yesterday to me, these last 3 months have transformed me. I feel so calm. When everyone else is losing their mind, is losing their marbles, when everyone else seems to be around you in a state of confusion, panic, um, whether the panic is overt or invert, meaning within, uh, it is it is now that we are able to see the impact of continuous practice delivered with understanding, delivered with the context that we can make sense of what's going on. Human beings only suffer when we feel there are only four conditions that induce suffering in human beings. One is separation, and by separation I mean anything that you're attached to. Two, death. Three, disease. And four, anxiety caused by doubt. Having a doubt, what's going on? What's there's something your spidey senses are picking up? Something seems more than what is obviously being presented. And if you are tuned into this space, then you will realize it's not about being suspicious, it's just seeing through the bullshit. Now, here we have to now start looking at how do we exercise? How do we exercise our authority in this state? Do we create more division? Do we add to the duality? Do we create more conflict? Or is there another route? Well, the simplest route first is to claim your own sovereignty, is not to really be concerned about what others think. Apologies, apologies. We seem to have lost Facebook. We are trying to get on there. We'll try and get there now. Sorry about this. And apologies, apologies, apologies. And we are there. And we are live. Sorry, we lost you guys. There seems to be some problem with the technology. If we lose you again, please go on to the YouTube link. We'll try again. There seems to be a problem with the technology at the moment, which I can't figure out. But so apologies from my part. So where was I? So welcome back. So where was I? So we were looking at our how do we contribute? How do we become part of this situation? How do we make it healthier rather than unhealthy? And the way we do this is not to add to it, but actually to rise above it. To rise above it. Listen with your ears and make your own decisions based on your intuition. Do not hear what others are trying you to understand. Do you understand? What I'm saying is do not hear so you are influenced. One needs to listen, but one needs to form their own decision, whether it's right for you or not so right for you. So, going back, what can we do in this process? What can we do in this situation? Well, we can rise above this. And how do we do it? We claim our sovereignty. Do not argue with fools. If you are pro-mask or anti-mask, um, do not argue with people. Do not get involved in that negative discussion trying to justify yourself. The time has now come where there is no time to justify yourself. The time has come to reclaim your own authority, to reclaim your own sense of self, to ensure that you maintain a practice. And this practice, the choice of your meditation, will determine the end result. The seed you choose determines the fruit you end up with, right? And with meditation, it's no different. So if you don't know what kind of meditation you're using, then you need to have some clarity. So let me give you some examples. The meditations that we have been sharing are all based on bringing you to yourself, and it we have used mantra, and we have used the breath, and we have also used the heart. Mantra, breath, and heart. Now, with the breath and the mantra is connected to your breath, meaning the same sound that your breath makes is the same sound, it's exactly the same sound of the mantra. So the mantra was Soham, as the breath comes in, breath goes out, it creates the same. So it is organic to you. But it also has a huge sacred significance. All right, so that's the mantra. The heart coherent stuff that we've been doing it with breath, but we've also done it with mantra once or twice. Now, why are we using a mantra? Okay, a mantra is something that allows you, it is the finger that points to the moon, but it's more than that. It's not just the finger that points to the moon, there's more to it than that. So when we use a mantra, so at the moment, there is a lot of debate and discussion and concern and mistrust and religious divisions and various other divisions, which are based on people's points of view, their worldview, the way they have been trained to think. Now, what this tends to do, if you do not recognize this, if you do not recognize this worldview, this lens, then we operate through it and we can never make sense of the world. And in this way, what happens is that whichever side of duality that you become attached to, the other side creates anger, the other side creates fear, and the other side creates your resistance. So the idea in our meditation to do with the breath is to first ensure that it's completely non-religious, it's completely dogma free, there's got nothing to it. However, the breath has a sound, and this sound is an organic sound. And this organic sound, now I will only share with you what I live. I can't share with you stuff I don't know. So, in my tradition, there is a concept called Akal Purak. Akal means timeless, Purak means consciousness. So, Akal Purak is the name given to this moment, which contains within it all that ever has been, all that ever will be, and all that is, and all that we don't even know is. In other words, it is an infinite, unknowable ocean, yet its quality is conscious, meaning it knows and it knows that it is. So, what are the two qualities of consciousness? Knowing and being. So, when you go into these deep meditations, you know you are in a space, or there is a you to have that experience. So, there is a knowing and there is a being because there is a you that's having that experience. So, this Akal Purak has a name. It has a name, but yet it is nameless. It has a name, yet it is nameless. Why is it name and nameless? So I use the name or the sound or the label called silence in order to take you to the nameless. Because if you go within silence, then any description of that silence breaks the silence. Does that make sense? So, what I'm trying to suggest to you is that this ground of being that you have consistently over weeks been going into every so often, having these experiences of peace, of contentment, of calmness, of tranquility, they've been consistent. All right, they may not have happened every day, but they were consistent. The experience has a familiarity, meaning that it exists. It's a real experience, meaning that when you can go back to it, you can experience the silence, the stillness, the awareness, etc. Now, this silence, this awareness, this stillness that you are going into has a name, and this name is the nameless, meaning it is a state of being, and this state of being is what all unfolding takes place from. It is your very essence. It is what you are. It is when the body will be left, when you breathe your last breath and your heartbeat beats the last beat. Then what is left behind is all that is to do with the organic material world, but there is a part of your mind which is then has an attribute of consciousness with it, which then transmigrates and then forms the next version of you, even though it's not you technically, right? So another way of describing this is you can use a candle, and I can light another candle from it, and we can argue that it is from the same flame. But however, it is not the same flame, meaning that this flame is independent of where it originated. So reincarnation can be thought of in those terms. Your duality, whatever you're attached to, is going to determine the next state of your mind. So if you are attached to, for example, and I keep going over this example of the masks because I feel it is a symbolic gesture from the politicians in order to make people voiceless. It has no credible scientific evidence. All evidence that is suggesting that this is quite a futile attempt at silencing people, or certainly showing compliance. Who are the sheep and who are the ones who can think for themselves? And in doing so, there is certain inconsistencies. You now all of a sudden the virus doesn't know that it has to affect us until the 24th, and only when we go into a shop, but not into a pub, not into a gym. This is inconsistent. It is inconsistent, it creates confusion, and that's what the actual agenda may be behind this. So do not get involved in that kind of stuff. Do not see it for what it is. See it for a scam that it is, and something that is every single week takes another element of your freedom away and mine. So this claiming of sovereignty is now going to become extremely important. Bad things happen when good people do nothing. And good people are far too compliant. And the British, in particular, are too polite. They are too polite. Even, anyway, I won't go there, but they're too polite. So we have to, but having said that, great revolutions, great rebellions, great thinking also emerges where there is most compliance, because you need the pressure in order for the antithesis to take place, meaning you need darkness in order light to be recognized. So, in moving in this place of your sacred space, and I'll call it your sacred space, when we use a mantra, that mantra is a reflection of the creative nature of you. It is a reflection of the fact that through your intention, just your intention, you can manifest from silence, you can manifest sound. This is a huge understanding if you can appreciate the significance of it. So when we go within and we are quiet and we use a mantra, you will realize that in using that mantra, We are in a state of stillness, and then there is intention, and then we create. So, this is your creative power. Out of nothing, through intention, you are able to create a thought, you are able to create a sound within yourself, and you are able to utter it. How profound is that? Something you can't do when you're asleep. So, knowing that life has two parts to it, the day and the night, knowing that all of us have two parts of life, which is life and death, then we know this is a finite time. And the time is now. Now is the time to wake up. Now is the time to say, okay, you know what? I actually get it. Now, if you don't get it, go into your practice and you will be shown. The intention is to know. And because your intention is to know, consciousness will always reveal the truth. Always. The mind will lie to you because the mind, particularly the ego, because you have the mind, and within the mind there is this thing called the ego, right? Within the Sikh worldview, it's called home, self-concern, self-reference, attachment to oneself, attachment to the idea that somehow that you exist as something independent. No, you don't. You are part of the ocean, as everything else is. And in knowing that and getting to that, there is a sense of sovereignty that begins to emerge. Now, what do I mean by sovereignty? By sovereignty, what I mean is self discovery, realizing what you are not. You are not your body, you never were. You are not your thoughts, you are not your little ego, you are not your pain, you are not your past, you are not the future that's coming. You are not the breath, because even that isn't in your control. You are not the heartbeat, because even that's not in your control. You are not your name. Once you realize what you are not, you will then arrive to what you are. Neti, 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 and then you realize what you are. That realization of what you are is not a mental issue. It's not a cognitive process. It's not something, oh, I get it. It's a becoming. It's a becoming. It's the doorway. So through the breath, we go in, we calm the mind. Through the calming the mind, we now start moving towards the heart. And now through the heart, we begin to enter this space of silence and sound, mantra. So in doing that, we begin to recognize a experiential process in which we are demonstrating to ourselves our creativity. We are demonstrating to ourselves that by doing this, we are able to access that infinite silent stillness, which is nameless, yet goes by the label now. However, it is not name as in a label, it is an experience. And it is the experience of the present moment of now. So, as we begin to become more familiar with that, this present moment is no longer a present moment, it is a presence. Allow that presence, allow that presence. That's all that's needed, to allow that presence. And in that, things change. In that, your vibration change. Change your vibration. Now is the time. Meditation, listening to kirtan, listening to particular forms of music that allow the vibration to rise up. So tonight, I will send people a link of Ki Ratan who are doing Kirtan therapy using mantras in the form of sound and singing in order to allow the frequency and vibrations of people who are engaging in it to rise, because that's how you go forward. You build up your vibration. And how we build our vibration? We need a practice. Meditation is critical. Meditation is critical. Add a mantra to that, and you have turbocharged your meditation. know what the mantra is about, adds more intensity to your meditation. And then recognize that where your meditation is taking you. For the seed determines the fruit, and the fruit are one of two: samadhi or nirvana. So if you keep going deep and deep, deep into the sound, there comes a moment when you and the sound are merged. Samadhi. Time goes over, you are absorbed. There is no time, there is no place. You are absorbed in that pulsation. You are absorbed in the sound itself. You become one with the creative, divine oneness in the present moment. Samadhi. Nirvana is when we keep stepping back, stepping back. I am not this, I'm 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 not this. And then the ego is extinguished. And that ego extinguished is what is called nirvana. And what remains is this emptiness, sun samad. So it is silent and it is stillness. Now, many of us in our meditation have touched that part. So your meditation will determine the route. And there are other bits in between, which I will start giving more information about as we go along. So, okay. So, in summary, time to now recognize, you know what, don't engage in the bullshit, take your own sovereignty, don't get too concerned about offending people from your stance, go for what is intuitively feels right, become aware that um, you may be being played. Just become aware. You know, knowledge is power. Not knowledge is not liberation, but knowledge is also power. So once you know, then you know you're not being had. So, and the other thing is raise your vibration, meditation, Tai Chi, Qi Kong, change your food, avoid anything that is heavy, like I know, there are people out there that like to eat flesh. I would say to you, try and reduce that stuff. That really does change your vibration significantly. Alcohol also damages it. Alcohol can put it back. Of course, there are other things that can raise it, like there are certain plants that can raise it. There are certain foods that can raise it. There are certain foods that can bring it down. So avoid foods which come from sentient beings like fish, chicken, that kind of stuff. But on the other side, prana-rich food, green foods, colorful foods, to ensure that you build some of that energy up, and you will also recognize that certain colors of food will also affect your chakras as well. So yellow, orange, red, like the bell peppers, they help down. Green stuff is towards the heart. Then aubergine, those kind of things. Purple, indigo, those sort of colors. So these colors also have an impact on our chakra space as well, because they are ultimately frequencies, and those frequencies are represented also within ourselves. Okay, so enough of that. Hope that was useful wherever that was going. In the meantime, let's begin our meditation. And today, what we want to do is we want to go into stillness and silence, which is the initial meditation that I introduced way before 2 3 months ago. And I will go into that and kind of identify the experience of that meditation, and you can verify it for yourself. And then when we get to the heart, I want to then introduce a mantra, but we're not going to say it aloud. We are simply going to recite it within ourselves. And your intention in that moment is to try and identify, where does it begin? Does it just come from here? Does it come from here? Does it come from lower down? If you can, you want to get to the point at where it begins. From what point does it begin? The time and the location. And if you can do that, my friends, then you know what? You have got to the essence of what needs to be got to. All right. So shake your back, loosen it a little bit, loosen your neck a little bit, and just imagine you're being pulled from the top of your hair. Pull your shoulders back. Draw slow, deep breath in. Become aware of your body. Sense your whole hand. Notice that you can sense your body from your toes. You can move up your legs to your thighs. And from your hips, you can move up your back to your shoulders. From your shoulders, you can come down your arms towards your hands. And notice that your face, notice if it's warm, if it's tense, allow it to soften. And as you breathe in, once again, just sense your body. This time with just a little bit more focus. Really wanting to know what's happening with me in this moment of now, in terms of sensations. So we break it down. Notice any dominant sensation in your body. Bring your focus to the chair or the seat you're on. Allow it to hold you in place. Notice the sensations where your body makes contact with the chair or the seat. Bring your focus upwards towards your hips, down your thighs towards your knees, down your legs towards your ankles, and your feet. And see if you can go to the soles of your feet. Now bring your focus to the chair again. Let's scan the back. So lower back first, middle back, shoulder blades, and then moving down from your shoulders to your elbows, from your elbows to your wrists, palms of your hands, fingers on your hands. Move your focus to the back of your neck. Pull your chin in. Take your focus to your eyes. Notice the darkness. The fact that you have awareness. See if you can become aware of this, that you have awareness of darkness. So there is darkness and there is the awareness of darkness. Allow this part of the body to relax and soften. Mouth. Notice your tongue. Soften. Allow your jaw to soften. And relax your face. As you breathe in, now once again gently coming back to your body. Notice how it feels. Bring your focus now towards your chest. Notice how you feel. Does this moment feel set, comfortable, pleasant, sukh? Does it feel unpleasant, unsettled, anxious, uncomfortable, dukh? On your next breath, open your awareness, begin to listen to the sounds around you. and follow the sound of this bell as far as you can. And again. Notice the silence. Stay with that silence. Allow this bell to take you a bit further, completely letting go. Allow yourself to be free. From this quiet, still place, notice there's only you that's experiencing this. In other words, there's only one of you. Ik. Now gently bring this focus back to your breath, just beneath your nose, and begin to watch the in breath as it comes in, out breath as it goes out. In breath as it comes in, out breath as it goes out. Allow the breath to breathe by itself. Nothing to control, simply to watch. Allow the breath to breathe by itself. Notice that the in breath has a start, a middle, and an end. The out breath has a start, a middle, and an end. The start, middle, end is the essential pattern of the universe. Everything has a start, everything has a middle, and an end. Stay with your breath. Notice how the breath is breathing by itself. The in breath knows exactly when to end. The out breath knows exactly when to end. Follow your out breath all the way till the end. This is the essential nature of your existence. While your breath is changing, notice it remains the same. The watcher, the awareness remains the same, doesn't change. While the breath is changing, the witness remains the same. Just as this breath is breathing by itself, your body is changing by itself. This moment is changing by itself. The earth is revolving by itself. The moon is orbiting by itself. Every single blade of grass, every single fish, every single insect is all doing its own thing by itself. This is the nature of existence. Infinite, yet the same. And you too are part of the same. Stay with your breath. Now bring your focus to the sound of your breath. Simply listening to the breath as it comes in, listening to the breath as it goes out. Now, as the breath comes in, saying to yourself, so, as the breath goes out, mentally saying, hum. And listen to that. Say it gently. Listen to it as attentively as you can. Saying so within yourself as the breath comes in, saying hum as the breath goes out. Now see if you can notice the sound begins. Notice before the breath comes in, there is silence. As the breath comes in, you begin to say so. Out of silence, you say so. Out of silence, you say hum. See if we can notice the two parts of silence on either side. Now gently begin to lower the volume of the soul and the hum within yourself, still listening, noticing the little gaps on either side of silence. Lowering the volume within yourself, gently bringing your focus towards your chest, still reciting soul hum with your breath, even though it may be just a pulse. On your next breath out, just follow the sound of this bell so you move into the silence. Notice the silence. Notice the peace and the silence within yourself. Know that this is the doorway to the essential self, for you can't go any further, for you are awareness, undying, timeless, eternal, present, beyond duality, beyond conflict, beyond judgment, without fear, without anger. Gently bring your focus back to your breath. On your breath out, expand your awareness to include your body. Notice that you're still in the same place. Notice you can sense your legs. Notice your back is straight and upright, as are your shoulders, arms, hands, relaxed and comfortable. Your eyes are closed, face is relaxed. coming back to your breath. And as you breathe in, notice you can sense your body. And as you breathe out, you can sense your body. Gently becoming more present to your body with every breath. When you hear the next bell, use this to draw some deep breaths in, slow breaths that are deep, and in your own good time, opening your eyes and coming back to the present. Hope you're back. Thank you very much for joining us. Be safe. Know that you're looked after. Know that you are the light that is bringing illumination to the darkness we're surrounded by. Thank you very much. Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh.